core values. I like to tell people all the time, I make a quick joke. I like to tell people that I look at myself as a glorified doorman for God. You know, I'm just a middleman. I was going through a lot in my life, and I decided to be less of myself and allow God, creator, universe, whatever you want to call it, I allowed it to take up more room so that I could be less of myself and more of a servant, more of a person who believes that they can help facilitate a place where people find their way home. So some of my core values, some of the things that make me tick. Things that make me tick. I have 5. I'm gonna go through those. The first one is, if it's not love, it's an illusion. That's true. The only true thing in life is unconditional love. I had an opportunity to go from several careers, living several different lives, and I realized that whether you were rich or poor, white or black or otherwise, the one thing that we were all fighting is oppression. I oppress myself, so I must oppress you. The places in myself where I'm unhealed, I must protect you from going there. And we like to call those triggers, which we'll get more into as you continue to stick with me, and we really deep dive into how we can be better individuals and really change the world. But the one thing you need to know is that if you always come back to the place of love, which is typically the present, which is typically the light, which is typically the place where solution lives, you will always find your way. Now it's time to expand into the unknown places of yourself. And it can be scary. It can definitely be scary when you start to examine the places in yourself where you've come up short for yourself, and you need to examine where you are letting you down. So that's one of the things. Number 2, I kind of went over that, number 2, which is the only way back home is through the scars. This is the hard part. This is the hard work. It'd be nice to just say, hey, this is gonna be a breeze. We're gonna motivate you, and I'm gonna rah-rah cheer you on to your next level. And that's not what I do. What I do is I help you to stand and confront the places of you that has been hurt. We'll talk about trauma, childhood trauma, self-induced trauma, culture-induced trauma, religion-based trauma, and we'll talk about how we lighten our load. A lot of times you can't get where you're trying to go because you're just too heavy. And you have to learn how to extract the things that are no longer serving you at every level. And at every level, something new is going to be extracted because you're just expanding into your whole entire being until you reach that full expansion, the place of pure consciousness. Oh, one of my favorites, number 3. I don't need to be right, I need to be effective. A lot of times you can't get where you're trying to go is because you're trying to be right. And that comes from a multiple of things, but one of the deep-rooted, seated things that comes from the need to be right is the fight for your enoughness, the fight for your identity. And when someone challenges the thing that you hold deeply as a part of your identity, you fight for it. But the moment you begin fighting for something that you think you believe, what you're actually affirming to yourself is that you don't really believe it, and you have to fight it. I'll give you an example. If I call you a purple dragon, you know you're not a purple dragon, you're unbothered. But if I say something hurtful to you and I call you, say, a liar or a cheater, or I call you dumb, if that's something that resonates on the inside of you, now you need to defend yourself. You need to protect yourself, and you need to fight for your ability to maintain your sense of identity in the world. You need to maintain this world you've built, and that will bring you into what I like to call survival mode. Again, something we go over. We really get into these mechanisms and thought patterns that have not served you and won't really serve you where you're going. Finding your truth is the only way. You got to find your truth. And typically, again, the truth is the present. Whether you leave out the front door or the back door, whether you decide to go into the future of your life or the past of your life, once you leave the present moment, you're only in your imagination. It's not real. In order for you to examine the past, it has to come from your idea of what the past is, which can only come from your perspective. And based off the stories you tell yourself, It could be anything. Same thing with the future. Your future is based off the narratives you tell yourself. And you know, you can have some positivity, but again, depending on where you are in your energy levels and where you are and your need to protect yourself, you may not want to get into your imagination. You want to be prepared to lead yourself breadcrumbs back to the truth of who you are. This entire thing is about being practical, about how you organize and how you create a peaceful coexistence of all the personalities and all the facets of who you are. I'll just tell you, there's multiple voices in there and they all want to be heard. And you can begin to release yourself from the war within if you begin to create a place of peace that begins inside, and then it will be transmuted outside yourself. Abundance is an inside job. And then finally, the most important thing you're gonna do is change the narrative. Talk about the stories you tell yourself and whether they are serving you in the narrative you want to adopt as you begin to transform into the whole being, into this God self that was sent here to do something. You were born here with a purpose. And when you align yourself with the truth of who you are, you begin to see life in a different way. The path becomes clearer. You lose the fogginess. You become more confident. You're less defensive and you're more open to working with teams, and you can just begin to build the community and foundation and relationships you see yourself having in the future. The abundance can start right now with you. That is all I have, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Please, if you want to reach out to me, riseofthemuthaboard@gmail.com. You can also join the Thrive Call or check us out on YouTube.